passing life's sweet line. Sheriff Miller by his side. Lively bluegrass, hearts supply.
Brought to you by Big Rapids Tire, Zott's Bar and Grill, Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes, M&M Lawn Care and Snow Plowing, and by M&M Collision Center.
All right, here we are.
Hey, good morning, Bob.
Hi there.
I'm going to start off with this. There was a boy in Arkansas, he wouldn't listen to his ma. She tried to get him to back to school. And the reason I sang that was because I'm going to ask these two guests this morning. Brian's not with us. He has work-related problems again. Civic duty, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, working with the Commission on Aging on identity theft.
Okay.
I'd like to take one of those courses. Not that I have any identity. You think about it, right, Bob? Do you?
Yeah, wait, no.
But anyway,
you have quite an identity.
these two guys, well, they're just amazing. Rob Bentley's with us this morning, Sandy Gholston. Both are legends at Ferris State. Rob has a voice like none other. I'm always listening to him just to listen to his voice, not so much the game, but man, he's so articulate and he's so word for word, you understand. He's fast, but he's slow. You can understand you, Rob. You've just been gifted.
Well, thank you.
But that being said, there was a boy in Arkansas. Did your mother ever try to get you to go to school with something else? What was your mother's dream of you becoming?
You know. I think my parents kind of left it up to me. What do you want to do? And I was always interested in communications, sports, and they kind of went hand in hand. And had a chance in high school to work at a radio station in my hometown, and that's kind of where it started. Had some great mentors there that kind of showed me the way, and went to college and had an opportunity to do some broadcasting. And then when I came here to Ferris State, we were looking for a broadcaster, and I kind of stepped in and did it.
So that was pretty fast then, wasn't it? Just like your voice there, you just moved right along. So what year did you graduate in high school?
I graduated 1992 from McCook High School, a small town in southwest Nebraska, very similar to Big Rapids. I think that's why I've liked living here in Big Rapids so much, is it reminds me a lot of my hometown, similar in size, and had some great opportunities in sports growing up, and just a great place to grow up.
So did you announce games back then?
I started the first thing I ever broadcasted. We held I don't know why it was in McCook, Nebraska, but a 16 and under World Series, CABA World Series, and I was working in high school, I think my junior year, and they needed somebody to broadcast the local team games, and I stepped in and did it. So that was my first experience, and I don't think it went well, but it kind of grew from there, and that was the first thing I had a chance to do.
Unlike me, the brain is supposed to be intact before you speak. Some to speak without the brain thinking what I just said. Pete Kent's good at that too, but you're not. So when you do talk, it just comes naturally to you. I guess it does to a lot of people, but you don't hesitate. Like I just hesitated just for a minute there. You just keep on going on and on and on and on. Well, did you practice that, or is that just a gift from God?
No, I think it's something that I was just born with, I guess. So I think when you fill enough time and you've been on the air enough, you know how to cover and fill in those time gaps. So I think it's kind of something that's probably evolved over time, but was kind of born with it.
I got a lot of questions for you this morning, but we're going to follow up with this one. If a young man, if a young man aspires to become an announcer, what would you tell him as far as what he has to do, what he has to work on? What would you say, Rob, to him?
I think getting as much experience as you can, whether that's in the broadcast side or just being around sports, being around teams. I think those connections you make are going to be important, and just continuing to practice, learn your craft, take as many classes as you can. There's plenty of videos out there on YouTube you can watch now and listen to. So I think all those opportunities, and just stick with it. You have to be willing to do a lot of the little things before you get those opportunities.
But and this isn't fair to them, but there's some really bad ones out there trying to be announcers. And you hear that people critique you guys all the time. You fortunately have that gift that nobody's sitting there saying anything negative about you. They really enjoy your announcing. But there's some really bad ones out there. And that being said, do they know they're bad? That might be a better one for somebody else.
That's a great question.
It is a good question.
You have a gift, and the other thing is, do other places ask you to come in and announce?
I have from time to time. Just depends on what's going on. I think in our conference there's been some opportunities, but they like to keep it more balanced, more unbiased, and don't want to bring in somebody from one school over another school. So I have had a few opportunities to go and do events at other places, if it kind of works into the schedule.
How many years have you been doing it at Ferris now?
I have been here actually today. I got to give a shout out to my wife. It's our 26th anniversary.
Wow.
So we got married 26 years ago, and I think a month later moved to Big Rapids, and been on the air pretty much ever since, but, especially the last probably 24 years.
Who hired you here then?
I got hired by Tom Krinovic, was the athletic director when I got hired here at Ferris.
He was here 26 years ago. Was he assistant or was he AD then?
He was the AD then.
Wow, time flies.
I think the first 10 years or so I was here, he was the AD. So, I had the benefit of working for three great ADs, him, Perk Weisenberger, and Steve Brocklebank. And they have different skills in different areas, but all have been, very important to me in my career.
Wow, Tom Krinovic, him and I were good friends and still are. In fact, Bob, we're going to call Tom this morning. And we're going to ask him what he saw in Rob Bentley.
Okay.
And, who was announcing before you? I can't remember. It's been so long ago.
There's been, I think here in Big Rapids, there's been some great announcers that have done it. Jason Day was the one that was kind of doing football when we stepped in. Basketball, there's been a few different people, but he was kind of the one, especially on the football side.
Yet, Jason was good. But there's something. Did you model yourself off somebody, or just your dad and mother's genes?
I had two people I think that I probably modeled it more after than anyone, and that was two guys that are still back in Nebraska. One of them in my hometown, Rich Barnett, who was the guy that I kind of started working for at KICX Radio in McCook, Nebraska, and he's still there, and I still catch up with him from time to time, and probably learned a lot from him. And two other guys, Max Broderson was our local high school broadcaster, did our football games, and his son Rich, who is a legendary PA announcer now, just did the College World Series. So those guys, I took a lot from all three of those guys, I think.
So, you've been doing it for a long time, and a lot of people know you.
We got his voicemail, so.
Right now. Please leave me a
We'll
message,
leave him a
and I'll
message.
get back to you
Okay.
just as
Tom
quickly as
calls.
I can. Thank you.
Go ahead. Tom, can you hear me?
Now you go.
Tom, call 231-592-1039. We're live on the radio station this morning. When you get done in the bathroom there, come on out and call us up. I got a question for you. Thanks. We're only here until 10, though. Tell Marge I said hi. But anyway, so we only know you, your wife's a teacher, 26 years now, too, for her, huh?
Yeah, 26 years for her, 25 in Big Rapids Public Schools, but 26
Wow,
overall.
I remember when you guys started. Wow.
Yep.
But anyway, I'm old. So you broadcast, but you do a lot of live stuff, do interviews and stuff, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
Who was the toughest one you ever interviewed?
Oh, man. Let's see.
That was really intimidating to you. Was there anybody like that, Rob?
I don't know that there's been anyone, in that realm. We had a women's basketball coach, Colleen Lamoureux-Tate, that was here for a while, and she was always entertaining. You never knew what she was going to say. So she's one that sticks out probably as much as anyone. Coach Anise, sometimes you never know what he's going to say either, but we have a great relationship, and, I don't know that anyone's been over the top tough, but I'm sure there are out there.
Well, if you interview people, you've interviewed a lot of people over the years. Has there anybody been just yes and no, you're going, wow, I wish you'd say something a little bit more? Of course, you probably wouldn't be proper to say their name, but let me ask you this. Has there been somebody like that?
Oh, yeah.
You're going, oh, my God, I'd like to have you say a little
bit more.
A little bit more on this, but you couldn't get it out of them?
No, we obviously hold a TV show, the Ferris Sports Update TV show, and we have student athletes on there, and I've had a couple tennis players or a track and field athlete before where it's this is going to be a long 8 or 9 minutes if I don't get a little bit more out of you.
Yeah. You guys do that together, eh, Sandy? Good morning, Sandy.
We do. It's interesting you mentioned tough interviews, and maybe Rob hasn't had as much of an opportunity to do it. I did it when I was in journalism, but when you interview a visiting coach, and sometimes visiting coach, especially if they lose, I can think of some coaches from some major schools that have come here and lost in hockey. And you get probably 1-2 word answers, 1 sentence answers, and so that can be a challenge. And you just got to learn the psychology of interviewing people and what you can get, and you got to know when to cut bait and move on and try something different. So, but yeah, it's a challenge sometimes, but more often than that, though, we've had really good interview opportunities with so many coaches, so many student athletes and administrators that the good by far outweighs the bad.
You guys, we're very fortunate to have both you guys, but you guys got to pinch yourselves once in a while because you could be at a school that, oh my God, we're 0-9 again next year. You guys are always 9-0, but Sandy, you had a column with the Pioneer when you first came to town.
I did.
So how did you transfer from the Pioneer writing articles, which you were a very good sports writer?
Yeah.
I bet they really cried when you left. 'Cause you did a nice job there. You were like a little Johnny Raffle.
I was there a long time. Yeah, I filled the gap, I guess, between John Raffles' stints at the Pioneer, and because he was there for a lot of years, and then he left and went to Greenville, and then I came in there for a little bit, and then he ended up coming back. So for some reason, we're not allowed to work together at the same time. Not sure why that is. So interesting, when I worked at the Pioneer, and that's kind of how I cut my teeth in the business, so to speak, in terms of communications. And then I had a chance toward the end of my time at the Pioneer to, Rob mentioned Jason Day, and I filled in one day as his color guy, and kind of been doing it ever since. So, it's just kind of been fun. Jason was a great guy. Rob mentioned him, and in terms of helping me to learn a lot about the business and how it works, and also our good friend John Smith, who passed away last year, and he was really good in helping me a lot as well. And so we've definitely had some really good people in local radio.
We're going to talk about both those guys. Day, he was a self-motivator. He raised himself. I've known him since he was a little kid. And he's always had that spark in his eye that, I want to be your friend. Mm-hmm. I want to see the best come out of you. Day loved people. You could see that. Mm-hmm. And so being that said, he jumped to a different venue in life, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Why is that? I wonder. He's not here to answer that, but I was just curious. But
I think part of it is, radio has evolved, media communications has kind of evolved, and, it gets tougher and tougher in smaller towns. I think he saw an opportunity to connect with people, get into the university, and is doing an incredible job at admissions. Our coaches say it all the time, we're going to have recruits come in and they want Jason to be the guy that takes them on the visit and shows them around campus.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I getting up in age where I pray to God every night that he takes me before he does any younger people. And I've been fortunate he's left me on this earth for another day today, and I really mean that. That being said, I really had a tear when John Smith left. He's another great human being. Why him at the age? He had everything, looked forward to everything. I remember the day he came in the station, he said, I've got cancer. Mm-hmm. And I prayed for him, but let's talk about John Smith a little bit. What did he mean to you, Sandy, as a human being?
Well, he was actually working for me at Ferris in the communications office in University Advancement and Marketing. I hired him. I had the opportunity to hire him to work for me as a communications specialist, and he worked right until his last day. And I was trying to tell him, John, slow down. It's going to be okay. Just slow down and take care of yourself. But very courageous man, very great family man, and just to his wife and kids, you just pray for them that they're continuing to do okay. Yeah. That was a lot for them to go through, and a lot for us as a Ferris family to go through, and really for the community, because John had his personality was about as unique as it gets, and he can make a friend out of pretty much everybody, and it was just always fun. He was a bright spot every day coming into the office, and I think most people that, I'm sure Rob would probably say the same thing. He just brought a great energy to whatever he was involved in.
Where was John from?
He lived in Comstock Park. He was originally from Saginaw.
Was he? Okay,
yeah. He's a
Boy, he
Saginaw
fit
guy.
right into Big Rapids, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Everybody liked him a lot. How many years do you think he was here?
He was at Ferris, I think he was coming up on 10 years. Getting
That's
pretty
it.
close to 10 years.
But he did the radio
But he was in
before
local
that.
radio, and then
That's
he was
right.
at Wood Radio in Grand Rapids for a
that's
number
right.
of
He
years.
left here
Because that's
down
when I
there.
first started working at Ferris, full time at Ferris. That's when I worked with John a little bit more when he was at Wood Radio.
Oh, yeah, that's right, he was. God, he was always positive, wasn't he? You know, a lot of people say, well, the guy was always negative, and that's why he got sick. But he was always...
Not John.
And I saw him walk every day with Ted Helm, down Ive Street, down to Hemlock. They walked every day. I mean, he got his exercise in and everything. And then,
You know, it's funny you say that because, you know, during COVID, we were supposed to kind of stay away from things. And John was one of those guys, he liked coming to the office anyway. We had one or two people that could actually come into the office, and he liked to do it. And one of the reasons was he liked the close relationship that he had with Ted. And they like to get out and walk and talk and just, have a good time and just, enjoy life. That was a challenging time for a lot of people. And they kind of found the positive in it, being able to hang out with each other, support each other, and, still have some connections at a time when it was really difficult to have those personal connections because of, things that were going on in the world.
you have a busy schedule, but I bet once in a while you think of him, don't you?
Oh yeah. There's so many things that'll spark a memory, about John, and something that you just wonder, like, what would he say about whatever that happened, or this thing in sports that happened, or this thing in life that happened, or in politics that happened, or this new person that came to Ferris for something, and he had a wit about him, and he could crack a joke, and he'd be laughing so hard that you still trying to figure it out, but then you just start laughing, and then you figure it out, and then you laugh some more. So John was just a great person, and you mentioned it, just a tremendous positive energy.
I told him that he would come in when he was sick, and I said, John, I want you to know one thing. When anybody ever asks me if I knew John Smith, I'll say one word: nice. You're just a nice person. John's really... I call you a friend because I like friends that are nice. You're just a nice person. He's always been nice to everybody. You never hear him talk ill of anybody. That being said, let's go on upbeat here. What took you from the Pioneer? Did you get fired there then? And then you went to Ferris, or what? And I'm only being facetious here. I like that.
Well, you know what? Actually, I enjoyed working in journalism. It was fun. One of the things I miss about journalism is I miss the connection that I had to the high school sports in the area. So I do miss that a little bit. But I was able to take a job at Ferris. I started in the marketing department. So I started working at Ferris in 2007 as a marketing specialist. And so that was a way of me to get a different type of experience working in marketing, writing marketing copy for newspapers, for radio ads, for TV ads, for billboards, all kinds of stuff like that. So I got that chance. And then somebody left, and then that's how I got a chance to work in communications and doing public relations work for the university. And so I did that for most of the almost 20 years that I've been full-time at Ferris. Has been in communications, first over in University Advancement and Marketing overall for the university, and now coming over to athletics, working in communications.
Wow, quite a resume there. Where'd you come from?
I'm originally from...
I know Mama, but where?
I'm originally from Detroit. I actually just went and visited my mom about a month ago down in Detroit, and I don't know if I should give her age away, but she's getting pretty close to 90 years old, and
Wow.
so she's doing well, fiercely independent, and it was a really great time for her. My brother lives in Spain with his wife, and so he came for about 3 weeks visiting home, and so I think she was over the moon happy that all three of us were together, for the first time in almost 18 years, that all three of us were together. So I think she was really happy. So we were filling her apartment with lots of joy and lots of fun, and got a chance to connect with some other family members. And so really good time to get the family back together.
Now I would touch on family. I know Rob comes from a great family. You can tell the way he presents himself. Same with you. What did your mother do to you to make you who you are? Why aren't you one of something else? What did your mom do to you that made you feel that you're successful? You are successful.
Yeah, she did a good job. My dad, I give him a lot of credit too. He passed away in 2004, but he was a great influence as well. But those two together, I think what they did is they provided a solidified foundation in our neighborhood. I grew up in Northwest Detroit, And when I look around at the neighborhood that I grew up in Detroit, you get a few blocks away, and it gets a little sketchy a few blocks away. But we were blessed to grow up in a really good neighborhood, and the men and women that I grew up with as boys and girls, they have all grown up to be very successful people. And I think I credit our parents, because if you went to a neighbor's house and you were acting up, you might get some discipline, and then while you're walking home, they're calling your parents, and you come back and you get some more discipline when you get home. So you didn't want to act up going anywhere, because everybody was your parent. You know, it was a community of really good people, and we all looked out for each other. And I think that's one of the reasons that we all ended up being successful in all of our different ways.
So you're north of 8 Mile then?
Yes. Yeah, I grew up just northwest, I kind of crossed the border from Redford Township. So you drive, from the suburbs coming west to east, and you get past that and just inside the Detroit city limits. But really, really good neighborhood, and just blessed to have grown up in that neighborhood.
Accountability, they made you, didn't they?
They did. Yeah. And we had to follow the rules, and there was a discipline that was maybe different than what you could do nowadays.
So what college did you go to then?
Ferris.
Okay, you came to Ferris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came to Ferris initially in 1993, fall of 1993.
What was that experience like? Do you remember? I know it's been over 100 years ago now, but tell us what you thought of Big Rapids, little old white town up here in northern Michigan.
I liked Big Rapids. I came.
I know you
so when I first got to campus, we did orientation. So the town has changed a lot. There was that's when they had the old Ferris Inn, and they had all kinds of the Galley Sub
you
Shop.
remember that.
Oh yeah, Galley Sub Shop.
Who was the president then?
Helen Popovich.
She was.
Yeah, Helen Popovich was the president then, and but it was a community that I really enjoyed. And Ferris has a great type of diverse. Well, universities in general. I mean, there's people that come from all walks of life. People that come from the small towns of the UP. People that come from Flint, Saginaw, come from just different areas, Grand Rapids, obviously, of course, and Big Rapids, this area as well. And for me, it was just great to be around so many different people, and, just to have a little bit of a change of pace. And people ask me, do you miss, Detroit? And in some ways, yeah. And in some ways, I have a home, and, I feel really comfortable here, and I can always drive down and visit the family in Detroit whenever I need to. And Rob's got a little bit of a longer trip to go visit his family, but you can always get that when you need to. But definitely found a home here.
You didn't feel it was a bad town? You resigned here ever since.
No.
People have treated you right. Doesn't matter who you are, what you look like. Everybody's the same here.
No, I think one of the things that probably helped me, Pat, is that the relationships that I was able to build working at the Pioneer, because I was working with the high school athletes. Many of them are the community leaders here now today that I worked with when they were in the Tyler Schubergs of the world. I mean, people like that I covered them when they were in high school, Nick Scheibele, others. And, now there's some of the community leaders. And so your boys, working with them. And so I've been able to build those relationships, not only with them as kids. To me, they're still kids in some ways.
Right.
But also parents like yourself and others, Bill Scheibele, Lynn Scheibele, and others. So I've been able to build those relationships, and, I've definitely helped me find a home here in Big Rapids.
So if you were to tell a group of young guys that are going into the life that you've traveled, what's the first step?
I think the first step is really to think about, to really carefully consider what you want to be, and what you want to do. And, you were talking to Rob about, how you got into broadcasting, and just explore what you want to be and what you want to do, and really look at what your options are. And your options may not be what, if you would have told me when I was 13 years old that I was going to be living in Big Rapids and enjoying it, right. I wouldn't have. I would have said, "Where's Big Rapids at?" First,
right.
That would have been my first thing I would have said to you. But you never know until you start exploring what your interests are. And Rob took a little bit of a straighter route into broadcasting. There were a few more twists and turns for me to get to where I was. But yeah, we got to the place where we wanted to be. And so I think just explore where you want to be, what you want to do, and then once you figure that out, then you start to look at what's the best path for me to get to that endpoint.
Did your mother or dad even say to you, what in the H are you doing staying in Big Rapids? Why don't you come back to big city and get with the Pistons or some marketing firm down here or whatever? Did they ask you that? Or
No.
they didn't ask you that?
You know what? My parents were so excited about it. They had a subscription to the Pioneer. So they were having stacks. They had more stacks of Pioneers at their home than I had at my house. And I'm like, you don't have to keep it. I told them one time, like, you don't have to keep every single paper. You know, you can just keep the highlights if you want to. But they were so proud of that. And so they kept all those stacks of newspapers and they were reading them. So they probably knew about it as much about Big Rapids as probably a lot of people that actually live in Big Rapids.
Now, did they come up and visit you? I'm sure they did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did.
What did they think of the town?
They liked it. Yeah. My dad he was the kind of person, he could go anywhere and make friends with people. He was, you know, you'd be in line with him at the grocery store. He'd start chatting with you, and he'd make a friend with you. And so, you know, I kind of got a little bit of that from him. And my mom was like that, too. They just find a way to make friends, and they find how they can be comfortable wherever they are. And so I think they're just, for me and for my brother, it's just where are you going to be comfortable and where are you going to thrive personally and professionally. And so, and wherever that is, they're going to be happy for you.
Yeah, I look at both you guys and I see one thing in common, or actually several things in common about both of you. One is neither one of you have a chip on your shoulder. Two is you always greet eye to eye and you speak to people with, I always tell these young people, if you want to be successful someday, the biggest, the most important word in your life is 2 letters, hi. Just say hi to somebody. And you'll be amazed on how far you'll go with a conversation by speaking to somebody. But so now I know how you got here and everything. Again, Rob, you were in Nebraska. Things were looking good out there, and you liked the town. What brought you guys here to college? Or?
Yeah, so I was, after high school, I went to school at the University of Nebraska at Kearney, got involved in college athletics, had a connection through my high school basketball coach. His father was the co-head coach at the time at Nebraska Kearney, so I was a student assistant in men's basketball for 5 years while I was getting my degree, and had a chance to stay on as a graduate assistant, was a part-time assistant for a year. My wife and I got married, and my degree was in communications, so I was kind of looking for something in basketball, communications, and got an opportunity here at Ferris. I remember coming on my interview here, and I got back home off the plane in Lincoln, and my wife said, "What'd you think?" And I go, "Not a chance I go there." And it wasn't that it was a bad visit or anything. When I got here, my hotel reservation somehow got canceled. My flight was delayed. I got pulled over for speeding, trying to make it to my interview, and then I got lost once with too many trees. So I said, "I don't know if I could do it." And she's like, "Well, we're going to go." So we ended up here at Ferris, and it's been a great place. Had opportunities to leave, but never been the right fit to go back home or go somewhere else. This is kind of became our home.
Well, it is to your daughter, right?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Here.
Yep.
2 daughters.
2. One of them is just finished her second year at Central Michigan, and the other one going to be a freshman at Ferris this fall. So two daughters, both out of high school now. So it's amazing how fast time flies by.
So Kernevik hired both you guys. No, not you.
Not me.
Who hired you again?
Steve Brocklebank. I guess you say Steve Brocklebank hired me, but I was already working at Ferris, and I moved from University Advancement and Marketing over to athletics full time.
But who hired you at Ferris when you first came?
Shelley Piercy. When she was the associate vice president at University Advancement and Marketing, she was the one that hired me.
Yep. So back to you, Rob. So you got hired by Kernevik.
Yeah, he was the AD. So when I started too, we were our office was kind of in advancement marketing for, I think, the first year and a half I was here. But we worked under athletics. So, Tom was the AD when I came in to Ferris, and did a great job, built a great relationship with him, and he's still friends. I saw him at a game this year, and it's always great when he comes by and says hi.
Oh, yeah. So you've worked with 3 different ADs now.
Yep.
Is there any similarities between the 3?
I think there is. All 3 of them, I think really had a passion for college athletics and wanting to do whatever was best for the student athletes. Went about it in different ways. Tom was a great community person, great people person. Perk came in and he had a strong sports background, strong business background. I learned a ton from him and just being under him for, I think, 12 or 13 years. And then, Steve comes in now, and he's just a great great person to work under. A lot of fun going to the office every day, and I think he's got a great combination of the two skill sets that really makes us successful.
Well, I've known every AD since the 60s. And when I say 60s, I think of Bob Leach. He wasn't the AD, but one of a great football coach, great people. And Tom, good friend of mine. But Perk Weisenberg, to me, was the ultimate AD. And the reason I say that is he did things that nobody else could have got away with as far as changing everything. The dynamics, the coaches, everything. I mean, Perk, very professional and took criticism very well. I praised him for that. I told him, I said, I cried the day that he let my good friend go from the football program. And a lot of us did in Big Rapids because he was like a brother to everybody. He still is. But as it turns out, he hires a man that is a legend. I mean, you can't knock what his decision making. And he, to me, should have got all those trophies that we've gotten since the first one that Anise has brought to town. And you look at the basketball coach, Andy Brockema. I mean, my Lord, what a hell of a string of wins that he had, and the people he brought in. The other thing, my hat's off to him by being at the helm, was the student athletes he's brought in. Tony's brought in some great student athletes. Yes. Oh, you might pick a cherry out of the apple barrel and get rid of them, but he does not tolerate civil unrest. But anyway, I like Perk, and a lot of people did. I always tell people when we win a championship, well, you better, I know Steve's doing a great job. I'm not taking anything away from Steve there, but Perk definitely was one of a kind guy, wasn't he?
He certainly was. And there's a lot of people that play a hand in a championship like that, but it starts at the top with a great administration, and he was able to kind of build that, and obviously hired the right person, and Coach Anise, who runs a great program, and it's fun for us to be out there every day at practice, once fall camp starts, and just be around those guys and the way they conduct themselves. Those are guys that are committed to winning, I think, above all else. And I think sometimes you get some student athletes that come in that maybe don't do it the right way, but he enforces that, and they do it the right way where they want to they kind of feed off of each other now.
One quick point I wanted to make too is Coach Anise has really done a good job, and Rob has seen this too, but he's brought Coach Pierce back. He's brought Coach Otterbein back, and he's really reached back to that past of Ferris State, and he's really connected the past with the current. And so I think Coach Anise has really done a great job of being an ambassador and really being inclusive of so many different people.
Yeah, no, he has, and he's just a one-of-a-kind guy. There's no doubt about it. That being said, Andy Brockema, he was a big loss, wasn't he?
He was. He was just a great person, great friend of mine. We had a close relationship, still do, and just a great person to be around. Someone that challenged you every day.
I know.
I mean, you have one idea of how something should go, and he's got a totally different idea, and he's gonna think of alternatives. And was just a great person to work with, and somebody that we miss, but we got somebody, I think, from his coaching tree now, and Coach Miller, that's going to do an outstanding job.
I know it. I was just going to say, I was talking to Jeannie Valor the other night there, and I said, boy, that Brooks Miller, he's not going to wait for anybody, is he? He's going to come right out and start winning, it looks like to me, with his personality, his character. Wow.
It's
a great guy.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because we were just outside Rob's office yesterday, and Coach Brockema's dad, Joel, was there, and then Brooks Miller, Coach Miller comes up, and we had a long I think at least an hour. We had a conversation out in the hallway, just talking about all kinds of stuff. And so, Brockema family definitely a really great family. And they're still obviously they got the Central Michigan connection right now, but they still support Ferris State, and so it's really great to see Joel yesterday, and it's always great to see Andy.
Well, we see Andy in the gas station quite a bit because he still lives here, obviously, and he's always been a very loyal customer and very good friend. And you'll never hear him talk ill of Ferris. Now, a lot of times when coaches leave, there's a little bitterness in the old sugar pot. Not with Andy. He just raves about Ferris State to this day, and I think down deep he wishes he could have maybe stayed, but he's happy over at Central, and they're treating him pretty good. I think give him a few years, he'll turn that program around. But that's a different level, isn't it?
It's a different level, different day and age with the NIL money and some of those other things that factor into winning just as much as having a great coach.
Yeah. That being said, how does Anise do it, do you think? He keeps on rebuilding and loses these guys and just guys wanting to play hard for him, aren't they?
They are, and they're guys that I think have learned from kind of the guys before them, and guys that sit around for a couple years and are just waiting for their opportunity. And when they get that opportunity, they've been able to take advantage of it. And he brings in kids from Florida, kids from Michigan, wherever it is, and gets them to buy into what he's preaching and really develop just an outstanding culture. I think that goes a long way towards winning.
Well, now for you as an announcer, we're going to take a break, Bob, just a minute. But we're going to come right back, but we got to thank our sponsors. But when we come back, I'm going to ask you about what it's like with this new program that they have now, where you're going to have one quarterback. Do you ever get mixed up on calling the wrong guy the wrong name? We'll be right back, Bob. Thanks.
This is Alec Gary of Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes in Big Rapids and Barrington. I believe what sets Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes apart from everyone else is our commitment to service excellence. When a family calls, we are there before, during, and after the funeral experience. I want you to be able to trust calling us. We're here to guidance and counsel each and every single family to each and every single need. And we just feel like the commitment to families, especially ones that put their care and trust in us, we are going to go above and beyond to do anything we can to help a family during their time of loss. This is Alec Gary, a legacy of service, a promise of care with Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes, located in Big Rapids and in Barrington.
Come say cheers at Zott's Bar and Grill in Big Rapids. Great food, great prices, and great people, where everybody knows your name. Zott's, people's choice for best soup. You don't want to miss their award-winning burgers and chili as well. Originally opened in 1933 and serving it up ever since. Seasonal beers on tap. Located at 732 North State Street in Big Rapids. Roxanne and Doug at Zott's Bar and Grill are proud sponsors of the Signature Player of the Week for the Curries Hot Stove League every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
M&M Lawn Care and Snow Plowing has been in business for over 30 years, gaining the trust of Big Rapids and the surrounding communities. M&M Lawn Care can handle all your lawn care needs, as well as tree jobs and including removal. Call for a free quote, 796-4956. They're fully insured. Call M&M Lawn Care and Snow Plowing, proud local sponsor of Curries Hot Stove League.
When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout, or worse, visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town.
Hi, this is Pat Curry. We're right here with Brian Miller at 1039. We talk about what's happening with sports in Big Rapids. Well, we got a new sponsor. None other than the Great Body Shop right on Maple Street, east of the bridge in Big Rapids, Michigan. It's called M&M Collision Center. They're celebrating 30 years of trusted, top-quality auto body repair and remains the name you can trust. Whether you have a major collision repair or a minor fender bender, our award-winning team has you covered with free loaners and vehicle detailing with every repair. They work with all insurance companies and treat every vehicle like it's one of their own. From auto body repairs to supporting local community organizations, giving back to the community is part of who they are. Come and see Matt and Devin and Trish and Justin. Just a great group of people there. Come and see why Big Rapids trust M&M Collision Center of Big Rapids, where quality and community come together.
Hooked at Curry's.
Pete, why do you come to Curry's?
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I go to Curry's to get the cheeseburger with caramelized onions and mayonnaise and ketchup. And you're not going to ask, where's the beef? It's going to be in the bun.
When was the last time you checked your tires? At Big Rapids Tire, they know how important it is to keep your ride smooth, safe, and reliable. Whether you're cruising down the highway or navigating tough weather, a fresh set of tires ensures you're ready for anything. Their expert team will help you find the perfect tires for your car and get you back on the road with confidence. Brakes, alignments, struts, and shocks, they do those as well. Don't wait for a blowout or worse. Visit Big Rapids Tire for unbeatable prices, quality, and peace of mind. Big Rapids Tire, Northland Drive, just north of town.
Back
we're
at
back.
you.
Yeah.
Back at you, Bob.
Yeah.
Sandy Gholston and Rob Bentley, most famous. Well, they're definitely heard about all the time up at Ferris State. Rob does the play-by-play for everything up there, and Sandy's right behind him with, well, what are you, the associate to Rob Bentley? I know you carry a lot of hats and wear a lot of hats. I guess you're partners, aren't you, you two?
We are partners, and we got our guy Brody Kaiser, who's also with us, and Brandon Worth, and they do some great work for us as well. And I just we all I only just me. We all wear a lot of different hats, and we all contribute in different ways. And I think that's one of the things I enjoy about the job is not only the broadcasting, but for me to be able to write, stories and to be able to interview the athletes and to do the social media stuff. And it's just really a lot of fun. It's fun to just be in the building every day and just to be around the coaches and the athletes and just to, chop it up in the hallway for a little bit and to get to know them well. So, we all wear a lot of hats.
Well, you do a great job up there, Sandy. I know I'm bragging up Rob here, but I mean to brag you up, too. You've done a great job at Ferris State, and Big Rapids thanks you, and we really do. That being said, Sandy, I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute. What was your high point of your life so far as who you interviewed after a game?
After a game?
Yeah. Rob, I'm going to ask you, too, because I know you've done them afterwards. You played a lot of football out there. You've called a lot of football games and stuff. I just am curious and who you guys would say that the highlight of your life so far is who. I know they've all been good interviews. Don't get me. I'm not saying that Joe Blow wasn't a good interview, but who really were you tickled to? Who really was exciting for you to talk to after a game?
It's going to be weird to say this because it's people that we see every day, but I think take your pick of the national championship wins that we've had. From the first one when Bronx won it in 2018, I think we were on the call. We were right there courtside and calling that, and then getting a chance to talk to those guys afterward was just it's hard. It's like picking your favorite sibling or favorite child or whatever, but. That was a special one, the first one, to win that first national championship, because we had an unbelievable run with that basketball team.
I know.
To get to that national championship and just that explosion there. I mean, that game was close. That was a close game, we were technically the home team, but we were actually the visiting team, because they had like 95% of the fans in the building, and so that was really special to be able to talk to those guys before. And after that game was really special. But also the 4 football national championships. Those were some special times to be down on the field after those 4 national championships for football and to be able to interview those guys like we did.
Yeah. Well, I was out there with Rex Schuberg and his friend Kurt from Holland. The 3 of us stayed together for 2 nights, maybe 3. It was a long time. But that was unbelievable, that game. Like you said, we were like 500 people there. Maybe we had 1,000. I don't know. How many do you think?
I would say somewhere between 500 and 1,000.
Yeah. And that other side was full, and then half of our side was full of the North Dakota. Who was that we played and beat?
Northern State out of South Dakota.
Yeah. And what was Rob, it had to be hard for you to keep your composure, because we're sitting up there going, I mean, this is crazy. It was back and forth. And actually, I want to give recognition to our 6th or 7th guy that couldn't miss a shot from the 3-point. What was his name? He was from Muskegon.
Deshaun Thrower was a football player as well.
God, he was a nice guy. He still is to this day, I know.
Good dude.
Oh, I got to know him a little bit. His grandmother raised him. And he was telling me his life story. But anyway, going back to that game that night, you had to keep your composure. And now, how did you do it? How did you not come unglued?
I think we just went with the flow of the game, and it was an incredible game.
Yes.
And he mentioned it, an incredible team. There was some outstanding players we had on that team that were just great people. They come back each and every year. They're actually going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame come the beginning of September. So that team will be going into the Hall of Fame, and just an incredible group of guys. And to win that first championship was kind of unreal, but had a historic season, one that'll never be forgotten, obviously.
So do you ever go back and listen to it?
I went back and we've watched the highlights. We have a package that actually one of our students put together at the time was a Big Rapids kid, Scott Vandersloot, that went into TV production, kind of learned it on his own, and did an incredible job with that Elite Eight run, and put together a One Shining Moment video that pops up on social media all the time. And every once in a while we go back and watch at least that. I don't know if I've ever went back and watched the full game, but watched parts of it.
I was up there with Rex, and of course, how Rex is. Oh my Lord, we had to walk around the stadium and meet the other people, which I don't think they cared for us. But and that was during the game or whatever. And I remember the cheering going on at the end of the game. And let's just go back for a moment, the last minute. Could you kind of go play by play? Do you remember that game?
I remember at the end of the game, we had a free throw situation where one of our guys stepped on the line. Allegedly stepped on the line, got the second free throw, made it, and then they came down and missed the three. So I kind of remember the last 10 or 15 seconds of it, I think, more than anything.
So we won it by one?
We won by one, yes.
I remember... because if we would hit both free throws, it makes it a lot tougher for them.
Right.
But they come down and they ran the play, and their guy was wide open. Unfortunately for us, he was about 4 or 5 steps too far behind the three-point line. But I remember watching that shot, and I think everybody in the building froze, and then it banged off the front of the rim, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we're going to win the national championship.
Right. Oh my Lord.
Because that shot would have won the game for them.
Yeah. And we wouldn't be talking about it right now. We would have been saying, remember going to National, we were runners up. Because we beat Texas something the night before.
West Texas A&M, yes.
We were at Zot's bar watching it. And Rex came up to me after, and we were the underdog in that game.
Yep.
And you guys, we played that out there too, right? No.
Yep.
Played 3 games.
3 games out there.
Where was it at?
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls, yeah. And Rex was there at Zot's with us on Kim Wells, and we were all cheering throughout the game, and Ferris wins that. We won that game by what? About
7 or 8.
It was a tight game. It was less than 10. It was a close game.
Yeah. But so we won that, and then Rex comes up and he goes, "You want to go?" I swear, we want to go to the finals. The rest is history.
I'm glad to have you, because we needed as many Bulldogs in that building as we could get, because I think Rob was a little closer to it than I was at the time, but those Northern State fans, they were trying to get their hands on our tickets. I mean, they had that many people that wanted to get into that arena. The Pentagon it's a huge building, and so they wanted to get in there. They wanted to squeeze even more fans in there.
We're sitting in a radio station here in Big Rapids, Michigan, and I don't know of any other school in the nation that wouldn't want to be sitting here with you guys right now, with the winning tradition that we've had the last 20 years. Why do you think that is? What in the hell? I talked to these kids from Fort Lauderdale, playing at Ferris football. And I asked them, what do you think of our town? They love it. Nice kids. God, they're nice kids. Anyway, it's a sandwich shop there. And I interviewed a few of them there, shooting with them. And I said, well, did you ever think you'd play in Michigan? No. But they would never want to be any place but here right now. But what is it about us that makes us, I'm going to say the lucky, gifted from God or whatever, but Big Rapids, you look at Central Michigan, they'd give their oil wells to be in a radio station talking to 2 guys like you right now about the winning tradition that you guys have gotten. And you're part of that winning tradition. And you look at Northwood, Saginaw. I think Saginaw just recently built a brand new complex, or was it Northwood? One of those two.
Yeah. Both are relatively new, but they've got, big indoor complexes. Yeah.
Now I'm going to jump off a little bit here. They hired a new coach at Saginaw. They fired the other guy that made it to the playoffs and was doing a great job, but they fired him because he couldn't beat Ferris. what makes Saginaw think that they can beat Ferris is beyond me. With the mentality and the beliefs that these guys buy into that program, there's no way. And that new guy's coming in there saying, okay, I'm going to rebuild a program. How the hell you rebuild a program against a dynasty?
That's tough.
You almost can't.
Yeah, Coach Brady's a good guy, too. I mean,
I know he is. But what is it about Big Rapids and Ferris State? What do you think it is? It's just...
I think it's the community and the people. It starts, in athletics with Coach Anise. They really buy into him, his staff, the love those guys kind of pour into those kids, and, it makes them feel like home. And you talk about sitting here after winning 4 or 5 national championships, and I went to a conference in Indianapolis at the NCAA headquarters a few weeks ago, and was in Las Vegas at another conference a couple weeks ago, and the impression of Ferris has changed dramatically in the time I've been at Ferris State, just after the success we've had, not just in football, but kind of across the board in the last decade or so.
Well, you wear a lot of hats, but going back to that, I just want to follow up with that. Grand Valley, I remember when they won the national championship, I think 2 years in a row, did they? Or back?
They won 4 out of 5. It was 2 years, and then, yeah.
And at that time, I thought, wow, if Ferris could even get in the playoffs, it'd be great. We're excited about getting in the playoffs. How many hats do you wear?
I haven't counted them up, but obviously more than just the broadcasting side. Associate athletic director, so kind of head our external operations, communications, social media, website, broadcasting, streaming, kind of you name it. The kind of a lot of the external functions that we have in athletics.
So how many hours is that? What time do you start in the morning?
I'm not a morning person all the time, but pretty early during the school year, and working late at night, whether it's at home or late at night in the office, just doing what needs to get done. I want to see our team succeed, and I think Sandy's like that as well. We do all we can to play our part, and hopefully these teams achieving success.
So it's definitely over 40 hours a week.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. You can't be successful working 8 to 5.
Oh, no. Most of our stuff happens at night. Right. I won't say most, but a lot of what we do is from probably, mid-August through probably mid to late May. Most of what we do is after hours. So it's after 5 p.m. or it's on weekends. And so you can't, it's definitely not, if you're going into it thinking I'm going to work an 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. job with a comfortable 1 hour lunch break, it's probably not the right job for you.
Yeah. I put a lot of hours in when I was younger, and that part I kind of resent from my wife a little bit. She deserved a little bit better husband than me, because I was out in the wrecker, or I was working nights, working for Reese and Riley in a radiator or whatever. But I had to do what I had to do to make a living for my wife and kids. That being said, you must live with an angel.
I do, and she plays a huge role in the success that we have. Has been there for our kids since I started at Ferris, and since we had kids. And you miss some things, but you get opportunities. I think that's the cool part about working in athletics. Working for a guy like Steve, if there's something I need to be at, he's going to make sure I'm there. So, she does a tremendous job and has, but has been a huge supporter of what we do in athletics.
Does she play sports, and she just loves sports too? Is that why you're?
She played golf in high school. I'll kind of leave her sports background at that, but one of our daughters, Ava, played basketball, softball, was a varsity golfer for 4 years, so has been around athletics, and our kids were in sports, so she kind of grew to love it, I think, but has always kind of been a sports fan.
So you never come home late at night and she says, Rob, come on, get here by 6.
I don't know if I get that from work. I get it from playing men's league softball like last night, but I do get that once in a while. So
yeah, well, she's an angel anyway, isn't she?
Yeah, she is.
Because it takes a special lady to do that. And it's hard on some marriages, as we well know. We won't mention names, but it is. Guys work a lot of hours in sports. That being said, you could have a rocket scientist graduate from Ferris State, but there's nothing better than athletics. Why is that in our culture, do you think?
I think it's kind of been the front porch of the university, and that's a lot of schools try to sell it like that, but I think it is here with President Pink. He realizes the value of athletics, the importance that it brings to a campus. It rallies people, on homecoming, game days, and people want to come and support their university, be around everything that happens kind of with the atmosphere on game days.
Every president we've gotten here so far at Ferris has left a mark, and Eisler did a pretty good job getting what he had to do. Now President Pink's in there, and it's almost like he's a gift to athletics, isn't he?
He is, and somebody that understands, I think, more than anyone, had an athletic background, was a teacher, was a coach, was an administrator, and has been around athletics his entire life, too. So he gets the importance of it and the value of it, and is hopefully using that as a way to market the university and, help other areas of the campus.
Yeah, he's going to make a lot of things happen up there, and that's kind of nice to see because that helps Big Rapids. I always tell everybody our biggest industry is Ferris State. We got to promote Ferris State.
Yeah, he's genuinely a fan too. I mean, he stopped I mentioned earlier the conversation we had in the hallway outside Rob's office. President Pink stopped by. He just stopped by and visited and chatted with us a little bit, and so he still had the shirt and tie on, so he was still looking, kind of presidential. But he stopped by and talked to us. But he's a fan. I mean, he's at a lot of our events and even some of the ones on the road. He's there, and so he's been a really big supporter, a big champion of that. And, I know it's one of the reasons he's spending so much time working on that indoor activity center is to really help enhance not only the athletics experience, but the overall activity experience that's going to help provide, hopefully, to Big Rapids.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that we've won this many and we just keep on rolling. Do you see any? I won't ask that question. How about? A niece. I just hope there's one just like him coming up. There's no Rob Bentley coming up. I mean, somebody's going to do your job someday, but are they going to sound like you? Probably not. That being said, have you ever been asked to be a guest announcer on somebody else's sports teams?
I've done it. I did a couple games with the Whitecaps a few years ago as kind of their color commentator. Did a few other events like that. So, yeah, I've done it once in a while. But, it's a little bit harder. I think, we get a chance to watch these guys every day in practice, get to know them. And it's a lot more fun to call games for a team that you really want to see win and be successful, I think.
But now with that portal, right, they're coming and going. Was it easier for you 3 years ago to announce a game because you knew who was going to be there? Now you might have different players in there. Is it hard to remember new ones?
I think we kind of pick it up as time goes on. We lost, obviously, Trinidad Chambliss a couple years ago, and he was a great quarterback. But, we had other guys kind of waiting in line. And we knew who Wyatt Bauer was. We knew he was going to be the next guy. Not everybody out there did because they don't get a chance to watch him practice. But we knew he was going to be good, and he was going to be special as well.
I had them, the twins on here from Owasso, Corona area.
Yep. Yeah.
What's their names?
Wyatt and Tarek.
Wyatt and Tarek Bauer.
Well, the one chair was up higher than the other one was low, and it makes sense, doesn't it? But anyway, the quarterback, right? One's quarterback, one's a tight end.
Well, wide receiver.
Wide receiver. Well, the wide receiver looked small compared to his twin brother. He looked like, wow, his twin brother got all the oatmeal. What is he, about 6'4"?
6'3",
like
4.
That.
Yeah.
6'4".
Big kid.
Yeah.
Well, then after the interview, we all stood up. He matched his brother.
Yeah.
He was tall too. But boy, you talk about good character, those two kids.
Good kids.
And they're with Ferris this year again.
There's some cool pictures of them coming to camp at Ferris when they were really, really little kids.
Really?
Yeah, and so they've kind of had that connection, to Coach Anise for a lot of years. That's Coach Anise's town. And so, it's really great to see those two thrive. Like Rob said, everybody's like, well, how are you guys going to replace Trinidad Chambliss? And we knew that, we had Wyatt that was coming up. We knew we had Chase Carter that was coming up. So we knew that we had some talent. And I don't know about Rob, but I just kind of kept quiet. I'm like, how are we going to replace them? I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. But we did okay last year.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Well, they got some fabulous athletes. That being said, he really recruits a lot in West Michigan, doesn't he?
He does, and I think that's been a big key to the success is just establishing those relationships. He had him as a high school coach, and he's carried those relationships on. There's, we go out there practice. There's high school coaches there all the time coming to watch our guys practice and learn from Coach Anise and his staff, and has really developed a great relationships not only in West Michigan but kind of across the state with the high school coaches.
Now, I know we've got to finish up here pretty quick, but Anise puts coaches clinics on, doesn't he?
He does. Yep.
He's all over the place doing those kind of things.
How come nobody, they try to emulate him, but they can't do what he does? Why is that?
I think it starts with the knowledge he has. He's probably forgot more than a lot of people have ever known, especially on the offensive side of the football. But, it takes more than just the X's and O's. I think it's putting guys in position to succeed, giving them opportunities, and then obviously getting them to play hard for you. And he does a great job of doing that.
And he's got a great staff. Brian Hodges, he's a great defense. And then Brian Rock. He has longevity, although he's lost some great coaches to go on, try their own, but they can't emulate him, can they?
It's tough. And but you mentioned the coaches clinics, and we had one not that long ago here on campus, and when you sat there and look around that room and you look around the stadium and you see all these coaches, and you see Coach Peter Sturzma from Hope College, who's a good friend of Coach Anise, and he's there, and all these other college and high school coaches there. They want to learn from Coach Anise, and Coach Anise is not insecure about sharing what he knows and showing what he can do. And I think that's one of the reasons that coaches at the high school level all the way up to the college level, probably even up to the major college levels, they know who Tony Anise is because of the respect that he's earned during his career.
Yeah, I know. We could talk on forever and ever, and you guys probably got to get going. And
WBZX Big Rapids.
Thank you, Bob. You're welcome. But any last words? Rob, you are a legend. Sandy, you are too. But we just love listening to your play-by-play. Sometimes somebody will say, well, you didn't show up at the game. I said, I'd rather listen to it. And, that's quite a compliment. And I know you have a lot of listeners because you make it seem like you're right there. Do you realize that?
Oh, thank you.
No, do you realize that, how good you really are?
Well, we try to do that. We try to set the scene, and hopefully we do a good job of that.
Well, you both do. You compliment each other a lot there, and we really enjoy it. And Big Rapids, like I said, I'm babbling now, but we've been blessed. We're blessed with President King. We're blessed with our Pink there. King, what did I call him? King? Well, he is the king right now. But Steve there and you guys and all the great athletes that we've had.
Yes, we
and
have.
I always say, you can be the best trainer in the world, but if you don't get good horses, you're not going to win the race. Mm-hmm. But if you're a good trainer, you'll get good horses. And that's what Anise is doing right now in his company. But any last words, boys?
No, thanks for having us, and we appreciate everyone that kind of listens to our broadcast and follows along, and looking forward to another great fall. And thanks, Pat, for all you do here for Big Rapids, and some great people in Big Rapids, and it's been a great place to call home.
Well, now, follow up on your TV production. What channel is that on?
Ferris Sports Update airs during the fall, so it'll start back up in the fall semester, Wednesday nights on Fox 33 across northern Michigan at 10:30.
Boy, that's interesting. You do a great job on that. You get some really good people on there, you guys do. Yeah, that's for sure. Of course, everybody likes a winner, so that's why everybody's following you right now. But you're never going to be a loser, are you, Rob?
No. Been great people that help put on that show. Our television and digital media production program does a lot for us in terms of streaming games and putting on that production. So we have a great relationship with them. And Joe Strokeridge with our IT staff, who's incredible for athletics. So it takes a lot of people to make what we do possible.
Yeah, it does. You guys do a great job up there. Well, God bless America. We've had another day here with Bob and company at 103.9. We want to thank Dom and Jen for investing in the Big Rapids. But more importantly, we want to thank everybody out there listening right now, because Big Rapids has been blessed with people like Rob and Sandy and Tony and Andy and all the great people at Ferris State. We just have a great industry up there. And there's no wondering why we're successful with people like you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Bob.
Come say cheers in Zots Bar and Grill. Downtown Big Rapids. Great food, great prices, and great people. So come on down where everybody knows your name. Zots Bar and Grill, the People's Choice Best Soup winner. The burgers are where it's at. Originally opened in 1933 with seasonal beers on tap. Located at 732 North State Street in Big Rapids. Zots Bar and Grill is a proud sponsor of the Signature Player of the Week for the Hot Stove Sports League every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
M&M Lawn Care and Snow Plowing has been in business for over 30 years, gaining the trust of Big Rapids and the surrounding communities. M&M Lawn Care can handle all your lawn care needs, as well as tree jobs and including removal. Call for a free quote, 796-4956. They're fully insured. Call M&M Lawn Care and Snow Plowing, proud local sponsor of Curries Hot Stove League.
This is Alec Gary of Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes in Big Rapids and Barrington. I believe what sets Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes apart from everyone else is our commitment to service excellence. When a family calls, we are there before, during, and after the funeral experience. I want you to be able to trust calling us. You know, we're here to guidance and counsel each and every single family to each and every single need. And we just feel like the commitment to families, especially ones that put their care and trust in us, we are going to go above and beyond to do anything we can to help a family during their time of loss. This is Alec Gary, a legacy of service, a promise of care with Daggett Gilbert Funeral Homes, located in Big Rapids and in Barrington.
Hi, this is Pat Curry. We're right here with Brian Miller at 1039. We talk about what's happening with sports in Big Rapids. Well, we got a new sponsor. None other than the Great Body Shop right on Maple Street, east of the bridge in Big Rapids, Michigan. It's called M&M Collision Center. They're celebrating 30 years of trusted, top-quality auto body repair and remains the name you can trust. Whether you have a major collision repair or a minor fender bender, our award-winning team has you covered with free loaners and vehicle detailing with every repair. They work with all insurance companies and treat every vehicle like it's one of their own. From auto body repairs to supporting local community organizations, giving back to the community is part of who they are. Come and see Matt and Devin and Trish and Justin. Just a great group of people there. Come and see why Big Rapids trust M&M Collision Center of Big Rapids, where quality and community come together.
Hi, this is meteorologist Morris Langworthy with your B1039 weather. But first, let me tell you about Lake Osceola State Bank with 12 area offices. What will you be doing with your summer? If you'll be buying a car or making home improvements, we're here with smart advice and good options. Lake Osceola State Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Visit LOSB.com. And remember the saying, when thunder roars, go indoors and get ready for the return of some summer heat. For today, we'll see rain showers and thunderstorms with a high of 70.